Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. What if I told you that one of the most common neurodevelopmental conditions isn't about a lack of attention, but about having too much of it, an inability to regulate and direct it? Today, we're unraveling the science behind attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, moving beyond the simple stereotypes to understand the history, the neuroscience, and the lived experience that defines this unique brain wiring. The story of ADHD isn't new. Its roots are woven through centuries of medical observation. As early as 1775, the German physician Melchior Adam Weikart described individuals who were inattentive and overly active from a young age. Just a couple of decades later, in 1798, Scottish physician Sir Alexander Crichton wrote with remarkable insight about a mental restlessness and an incapacity of attending with a necessary degree of constancy to any one object. He noted it started early in life and could interfere with education. Even popular culture reflected this awareness. The famous 1845 German children's book, Struwwelpeter, featured the character Fidgety Phil, an allegorical figure for a child who simply could not sit still at the dinner table. The true shift towards a medical understanding began in 1902 with British pediatrician Sir George Frederick Still. In a series of lectures, he described a group of intelligent children who had what he termed a defect of moral control. They struggled with sustained attention, were often defiant, and displayed heightened emotionality. Crucially, Still was among the first to frame these behaviors as a potential medical condition, not just a result of poor parenting or a character flaw. This idea of a biological basis gained more traction following the 1917-1918 encephalitis epidemic. Physicians noted a post-encephalitic behavior disorder in some children who survived, characterized by hyperactivity and impulsivity. This led to theories of minimal brain damage, and later, minimal brain dysfunction, firmly linking these behaviors to the brain itself. Then came a pivotal and entirely accidental discovery in the 1930s. In 1937, Dr. Charles Bradley was using the stimulant Benzedrine to treat children's headaches. To his surprise, he observed a remarkable improvement in their behavior and school performance. This was the very first indication that medication could be an effective treatment, a finding whose significance would take decades to be fully appreciated. The condition finally received an official diagnosis in 1968, appearing in the second edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM, as hyperkinetic impulse disorder. The name and diagnostic criteria continued to evolve rapidly. In 1980, the diagnosis was changed to attention deficit disorder, or ADD, a crucial development because it recognized that inattention could be the primary issue, even without hyperactivity. The pendulum swung back in 1987 when the name was changed to ADHD, but then the DSM-IV in 2000 reintroduced subtypes, which are still used in a modified form today: the predominantly inattentive presentation, the predominantly hyperactive impulsive presentation, and the combined presentation. The most recent addition, the DSM-5 from 2013, refined this further, raising the age of symptom onset and allowing for a co-diagnosis with autism spectrum disorder. This long, winding historical journey highlights a constant effort to refine our understanding, moving from simple behavioral descriptions to a more nuanced, scientifically grounded framework. So let's go deeper. What is actually happening inside the ADHD brain? Thanks to decades of neuroscience research, we now know that ADHD is associated with clear differences in brain structure, chemistry, and function. Let's start with the brain's command center, the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. This region, located right behind your forehead, is the brain's executive director. It's responsible for all higher-order cognitive functions: planning, organization, decision-making, emotional regulation, and critically, impulse control and working memory. In individuals with ADHD, the PFC can show weaker function and maturation delays. This isn't about being less intelligent. It's about the director of the brain's orchestra being under-resourced. This can manifest as difficulty holding a sequence of instructions in your head. That's a working memory deficit. It can look like struggling to start a big project because you can't break it down into smaller steps. That's a planning deficit. Or it can be blurting out an answer before someone finishes their question. That's an impulse control deficit. But the PFC doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's part of several critical neural networks. The basal ganglia, a group of structures deep within the brain, is involved in habit formation and reward processing. The limbic system, which includes the amygdala, is the brain's emotional center. And the cerebellum, traditionally linked to motor control, is now known to be vital for timing and cognitive fluidity. In ADHD, the issue often lies in the connectivity, the communication highways. Within and between these networks, the signals can be weaker, slower, or less coordinated. It's like having a team of brilliant experts who are all in different rooms with a spotty Wi-Fi connection. The information is there, but it's not being transmitted efficiently to where it needs to go. This communication breakdown often boils down to the brain's chemical messengers, neurotransmitters. Two, in particular, have been the focus of extensive research in ADHD, dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine is famously called the pleasure chemical, but a more accurate description is the motivation chemical. It's involved in the brain's reward system, but it governs wanting more than liking. It's the neurochemical that drives you to seek out rewards and helps you stay focused on a task to achieve a future goal. Research strongly suggests that in ADHD, the dopamine system is dysregulated. This doesn't simply mean lower levels of dopamine, but rather an issue with the entire signaling pathway, including the receptors and transporters that manage it. This inefficiency makes it incredibly difficult to generate or maintain motivation for tasks that aren't inherently interesting or immediately rewarding. This explains why a person with ADHD can hyper-focus for 8 straight hours on building a complex Lego set, but cannot bring themselves to spend 10 minutes on their taxes. Their brain is starved for the dopamine that the rewarding task provides and cannot synthesize enough of it for the boring one. The other key player is norepinephrine. This neurotransmitter is crucial for maintaining alertness, arousal, and the fight or flight response. It works as a modulator, helping to tune the signal-to-noise ratio in the brain, allowing you to focus on what's important and filter out distractions. When norepinephrine pathways are dysregulated, it's like trying to listen to a single conversation in a loud, crowded room. Everything comes through at the same volume, leading to distractibility and difficulty with sustained mental effort. It is this complex, delicate dance between these and other neurotransmitter systems that is thought to produce the core symptoms of ADHD. So where does this come from? Is it nature or nurture? The answer is overwhelmingly nature, with a touch of nurture. ADHD is one of the most highly heritable conditions in psychiatry, with estimates suggesting that 70 to 80% of the risk is due to genetic factors. That means it runs strongly in families. However, it's not caused by a single ADHD gene. It's a polygenic disorder, meaning many different genes, each with a small effect, combine to increase an individual's susceptibility. Many of the genes identified so far, such as DRD4, DRD5, and DAT1, are directly involved in building the infrastructure for those very same dopamine and norepinephrine systems. It's important to remember that having these gene variants doesn't guarantee you'll have ADHD, they just increase the risk. Environmental factors can also play a role, particularly during prenatal and early development. These can include prenatal exposure to substances like tobacco smoke or alcohol, premature birth, low birth weight, or exposure to environmental toxins like lead. It's the intricate interplay between a person's genetic blueprint and their early environment that ultimately determines their risk for developing ADHD. Given this complex biological basis, diagnosing ADHD is a comprehensive process that goes far beyond a simple checklist. A qualified healthcare professional needs to identify a persistent pattern of inattention and/or hyperactivity impulsivity that significantly interferes with functioning or development across multiple settings, for example at both school and home. The DSM-5 outlines specific criteria: 6 or more symptoms of inattention, like making careless mistakes, being easily distracted, or chronic forgetfulness, and/or 6 or more symptoms of hyperactivity and impulsivity, like excessive fidgeting, an inability to stay seated, or interrupting others. For individuals aged 17 and older, the threshold is 5 symptoms. A thorough assessment involves detailed clinical interviews, gathering information from multiple sources like parents and teachers, using standardized rating scales, and crucially, ruling out other conditions like anxiety disorders, depression, or sleep disorders that can mimic ADHD symptoms. The great news is that while there is no cure for this brain wiring, ADHD is a highly manageable condition. Treatment is typically multimodal, meaning it combines several approaches tailored to the individual. Medication is a cornerstone for many. The most commonly prescribed are stimulants, and despite their name, they don't make an ADHD brain more stimulated. Instead, they work by increasing the available levels of dopamine and norepinephrine in the prefrontal cortex, which helps improve focus, attention, and impulse control. It's like giving the brain's executive director a better communication system and a more efficient staff. For individuals who don't respond well to stimulants or experience side effects, non-stimulant medications are an effective alternative. But medication is rarely the complete answer. Behavioral and psychosocial therapies are another essential component. These therapies teach skills and strategies to manage the challenges associated with the condition. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is particularly effective. It's adapted for ADHD to help individuals break down overwhelming tasks, combat procrastination, learn to use planners and timers effectively, and challenge the negative thought patterns, like catastrophizing about deadlines, that often accompany executive function struggles. Another powerful practical tool is ADHD coaching. Coaches work collaboratively with individuals to develop personalized strategies for managing daily life, from organizing a workspace to setting realistic goals and building self-confidence. Finally, lifestyle modifications can have a profound impact. Regular physical activity is one of the best non-pharmacological interventions, acting as a natural booster for dopamine and norepinephrine. Prioritizing adequate sleep is absolutely crucial, as sleep deprivation can severely exacerbate symptoms of inattention and emotional dysregulation. And while there isn't a magical ADHD diet, a balanced diet, rich in protein and omega-3 fatty acids, can support overall brain health and function. It's also critical to understand that ADHD is a lifelong journey. It is not just a childhood disorder that people grow out of. The symptoms simply change their presentation. In childhood, the hyperactive and impulsive symptoms are often the most prominent. As they enter adolescence, overt hyperactivity might decrease, but it's often replaced by an intense internal restlessness, while challenges with inattention, organization, and time management become more pronounced under increasing academic pressure. In adulthood, the challenges can be more subtle but have a major impact. An adult with ADHD might be a brilliant and creative professional, but constantly miss deadlines or forget important meetings. In relationships, chronic forgetfulness about birthdays or chores isn't a sign of not caring. It's a manifestation of a working memory deficit. A parent with ADHD might love their children dearly, but struggle immensely with the constant organizational and scheduling demands of family life. This brings us to a final, vital shift in perspective: the neurodiversity movement. This paradigm challenges the traditional medical model, which views conditions like ADHD as disorders that need to be fixed. Instead, the neurodiversity movement proposes that these neurological differences are a natural and valuable form of human diversity. From this perspective, ADHD is not a deficit but a different way of being. It's a form of neurodivergence. This viewpoint encourages us to recognize and even celebrate the unique strengths that often accompany an ADHD brain. These can include exceptional creativity and out-of-the-box problem-solving, resilience forged from a lifetime of navigating challenges, and the remarkable ability to hyper-focus, to enter a state of intense, prolonged concentration on a topic of interest, which can be a true superpower in the right context. The implications of this shift are profound. It moves the focus away from trying to normalize neurodivergent individuals and towards creating a more inclusive and accommodating world. It means providing the right support in schools, workplaces, and society as a whole to allow people with different brain wiring to leverage their unique strengths and thrive. Our journey to unraveling ADHD has been long, taking us from the early observations of fidgety children to the intricate discoveries of modern neuroscience. We now have a much deeper understanding of the biological underpinnings of this condition and a range of effective treatments to help individuals lead successful and fulfilling lives. But the journey is far from over. There is still much to learn, and more importantly, much work to be done to combat the stigma and misunderstanding that so often surround this condition. By embracing a more nuanced, compassionate, and science-based understanding of ADHD, and by championing the principles of neurodiversity, we can create a future where every individual, regardless of their unique brain wiring, is valued, supported, and empowered to reach their full potential. The story of ADHD is ultimately a story of human diversity, and it is in celebrating and understanding these differences that we can build a more inclusive and equitable world for all. Thanks for listening to G Fun Facts Online.